Before we dive in today, I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it for a second. Why are you interested in peptides? Is it because your friends are using them and getting results, or at least saying they are? Is it because they feel fancy, scientific, like you're doing something cutting edge that most people don't know about? Is it because you've been going to your regular doctor, telling them you're exhausted, you can't lose weight, you're not recovering the way you used to, and you keep walking out with nothing, no answers, no plan, just your labs are normal and a pat on the back? Or is it because you found a practitioner, maybe at a med spa, maybe online, who is very enthusiastically telling you that peptides will change your life? I'm not asking to shame you. I'm asking because every single one of those reasons is valid, and every single one of those reasons deserves a real, honest answer, not a sales pitch. I'm Dr. Arti Thangudu. I'm an endocrinologist, and you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Arti Thangudu, my name. And this is my channel, Arti Thangudu MD. And if you like what you hear today, come find me on my podcast, Endocrine Matters, where we go even deeper on topics like this. I talk about hormones, metabolism, and evidence-based medicine. And today we need to talk about peptides. Okay, so what actually is a peptide? At its most basic, a peptide is a short chain of amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Peptides are smaller than proteins, and your body actually makes them naturally. They act like little chemical messengers, signaling hormones, regulating processes, telling your tissues what to do. Here's the thing people don't realize. You are already using peptides every single day. For example, if you're on insulin, that's a peptide. If you or someone you know has been prescribed a GLP-1 medication like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, those are peptides too. These medications are FDA-approved, extensively studied, with years of clinical trial data behind them. Peptides as a class of medicine, completely legitimate. There are several FDA-approved peptide drugs on the market right now, used for everything from diabetes to osteoporosis to certain cancers. So the question isn't whether peptides can be medicine. They absolutely can be. The question is which ones actually work, what's the evidence, and who's profiting from the ones that don't. Let's start with the good stuff, the peptides that have real science behind them. GLP-1 receptor agonists, semaglutide, liraglutide, tirzepatide, these are the ones you've heard of, and the hype for once is actually backed by data. We're talking large randomized controlled trials with tens of thousands of patients showing meaningful reductions in blood sugar, body weight, cardiovascular mortality, and even kidney protection. These drugs went through rigorous FDA approval processes. We know their side effect profiles, we know their risks. Insulin, also a peptide, one of the most life-saving medications ever developed, over a century of evidence. There are also approved peptide drugs for osteoporosis, HIV, certain cancers, and rare neurological conditions. Peptide medicine is real medicine. When I recommend GLP-1 receptor agonists to a patient, I can tell you why, show you the data, explain the risks, and monitor you appropriately. That's what evidence-based peptide therapy looks like. Now let's talk about the other ones, the ones being sold at med spas and wellness clinics through online optimization programs, the one your favorite fitness influencer just got paid to post about. One that I keep hearing about is BPC-157, Body Protection Compound 157. This one is everywhere right now. It's marketed for wound healing, tendon repair, gut issues, you name it. And here's what the science actually shows. Promising results in rats and mice. Last time I checked, I wasn't treating rats and mice. The human data, though, is extremely limited. We're talking less than a handful of case studies, not randomized trials, not a controlled study, a case series. This is when we talk about what happened with a single patient or a couple of patients here and there. And even these case series had significant methodological problems. This peptide was banned by the WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, in 2022. We don't know the right dose. We don't know the long-term effects. We don't know if it's safe in humans at the doses being sold. Another couple, TB-4 and TB-500. thymosin beta-4 and its synthetic fragment. Also marketed for tissue repair and recovery. Also banned in sports. Also lacking human orthopedic data. Also being injected into people's bodies without us really knowing what we're doing. And here's what bothers me the most. For these peptides, we don't just lack evidence of benefit, we lack basic safety data. We don't know the right dosing, the right frequency, the right duration, the right person to use it in, the long-term consequences. That information simply does not exist in the medical literature for humans. And I want to be clear about something too. Yes, physicians do sometimes prescribe medications off-label, where the exact dose we choose may not be the FDA-approved reason or dose. These medicines that we're using off-label have been tested for safety. My patient's safety is of primary, foremost importance to me. If I can't say it has been shown to be safe in many, many other people, then I'm not prescribing it. So when we use medications off-label, it's not untested medication. It just might be the indication or reason for use is different than what is already FDA approved. For example, endocrinologists like myself were prescribing Ozempic and Mounjaro for weight loss long before they were FDA approved for obesity, because we saw signals in our patients that these were effective for weight loss. That happens in legitimate medicine and it's legal. But when we do it, it's backed by clinical expertise, a thorough evaluation of the risk-benefit ratio for that specific patient, and years of training. We also hold liability as physicians in case something goes bad. What it is not, and what it legally cannot be, is financially motivated. Under the federal Anti-Kickback Statute, it is actually illegal for pharmaceutical companies to pay physicians to prescribe their medications. That's not a gray area, that's a federal crime. The financial relationships I'm describing in the wellness peptide space exist precisely because these compounds aren't regulated pharmaceuticals. They live in a gray zone that sidesteps the legal protections that exist in traditional medicine. That's not a fun feature, that's a warning sign. And here's something most people don't know. If you want to see what payments are legally made from drug and device companies to physicians, you can actually look that up yourself. This is about real pharmaceuticals. This isn't about peptides and non-FDA approved compounds. It's a public record. Go to openpaymentsdata.cms.gov. It's a federal database. You can search your doctor's name and see exactly what they've been paid by industry. This is the regulated industry. Remember, peptides are unregulated industry, so they will not show up here. Transparency exists in regulated medicine. In the wellness peptide world, not so much. But they are being sold aggressively and expensively. I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough. Real doctors, MDs, DOs, people with medical degrees can be paid to push these products. Compounding pharmacies, peptide suppliers, and wellness companies have financial relationships with prescribers. Sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's subtle. Discounts, referral arrangements, affiliate revenue. Sometimes a physician genuinely believes in what they're selling, but has wandered so far outside of evidence-based practice that belief has replaced data. And then there's the wellness influencer space, where essentially anyone can put on a lab coat, real or metaphorical. Sometimes those lab coats look like Lululemon joggers. And they can use AI to generate content that sounds incredibly credible. The terminology is kind of right. The confidence is definitely right. The production quality, on point. But the science is fabricated completely sometimes, definitely misrepresented, and very often cherry-picked. Sometimes I watch these reels or look at these websites for these products, and then I actually read the science, and the science does not say what the headline says. The actual real science doesn't actually support the conclusion the influencer has asked you to draw with their post. I don't even think they have read the data or have the background to understand the data. This is how confusion gets manufactured, and confusion is profitable. So when people are confused, they pay. And when people are desperate because their real doctors haven't helped them, because they're suffering, because they have goals no one is taking seriously, they really pay. I understand that desperation. As an endocrinologist, I see patients who have been dismissed for years, told their fatigue is just stress, told their weight is just willpower, eat less, move more. That experience is real, and it makes people vulnerable to anyone who finally seems to be listening and offering a solution. But listening isn't the same as being right, and expensive isn't the same as effective. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, be skeptical of certainty. Anyone who tells you that a peptide with no human trial data is going to heal your tendons, fix your gut, and optimize your hormones is selling you something. Real medicine comes with nuance. It comes with caveats and honest uncertainty. Second, check your practitioner's credentials. This is something you can actually do, and I want you to do it. Every state has a medical board licensing website. You can look up whether your physician is currently licensed and whether they've ever been disciplined. Use it. It doesn't take that much time. Go to certificationmatters.org. That's a legitimate free resource run by the American Board of Medical Specialties. You can verify whether your doctor is actually board certified in what they claim to specialize in. If you have a friend who's a physician or who has worked closely with clinicians, ask them. Ask if they've heard of this person or this practice. Ask what they think. That informal peer network exists for a reason. But it's not enough. You have to do the other things too. After you've done these things, then go to your Google reviews. Next, ask where the evidence comes from. If a practitioner recommends a peptide, ask them, is this FDA approved? Is there peer-reviewed human clinical trial data? What are the known risks? What is the dose based on? If the answer is vague or they hand you a printout from a wellness blog, that should tell you something. And your symptoms deserve real answers. If you're not getting resolution in a traditional medical setting, that is a real problem worth solving. But the solution is finding a better doctor who will dig deeper, not finding someone who will sell you an unproven injectable. Those are two very different things. I made this video because I care about this. And more, I care about you. Not because peptides are inherently bad. As I said, some of the most important medications we have are peptides, but because the wellness industry has gotten very good at using the language of medicine to sell things that aren't medicine. And people are getting hurt financially, physically, and in their trust in healthcare. I agree that the healthcare system that we live in the US does not deserve your trust. The healthcare industry has created these 5-minute visits where you don't have a relationship with your doctor. It is completely understandable that you do not trust your doctor in that setup. But that doesn't mean that evidence-based medicine is inherently bad and that you should go seek care from somebody who doesn't practice medicine. An alternative way to look at it is find a credentialed doctor with real expertise who has the time to spend with you, is willing to spend that time. We do exist out there. We're just harder to find, and I get that. You deserve practitioners who are honest with you, who tell you what we don't know. We don't know everything. Those who don't profit from your confusion. Those who hold themselves to a standard of evidence. And then look at that evidence with nuance as it relates to you as an individual. Credentials and ethics matter. Accountability matters. And you are allowed, in fact, I encourage you to ask hard questions of anyone who wants you to take a medicine or to inject anything. If this resonated with you, please share it. Someone in your life is probably considering one of these products right now. Subscribe to my channel for more evidence-based conversations about hormones and metabolic health. And come find me on Endocrine Matters, my podcast, wherever you listen. I'm Dr. Arti Thangudu, and take care of yourselves.